travel, much like the questions we were asked earlier on. We did like the idea of the Westbury Shuttle to connect the patchy train service in Frome to a more regular service and mainline service. Equally, can we reduce the need for business travel to some of those meetings that might be in Bristol or in London by supporting good broadband in Frome and maybe offering a teleconference or video conferencing space that people could come and use, perhaps here at the town hall. We talked about hyper-local, posh phrase, or very local neighbourhood services and encouraging people to use the things that are available in their neighbourhood rather than always coming into town for things, and that some neighbourhoods maybe actually need a bit more resource or support in terms of things like medical and health services, and we have these kind of areas and pockets where there isn't easy access to services. I will finish very soon. The big ticket item was about planning and thinking about the new developments in and around Frome of how we increase the mix of commercial, business, retail and residential space so that we don't just create pockets of housing and pockets of business, but we actually integrate the really nice, fabulous communities that we all want to live in.
Peter, how does that compare with your discussions?
So this group, well, these groups were actually interestingly different. The three different groups. And one of the things I'll just mention now is that Anna writes all of this up. So I'm not going to attempt to, as I'm sure Liz didn't either, to say everything. But this will all get written up and recorded and then fed in. At least some of them will get fed in. For a couple of hours, which are, to be honest, beyond a parish and town council, like massively increasing the fossil fuel prices and the Frome tax. There was so much I want to tell you about. One was, it doesn't completely overlap, which is more delivery. All three groups discussed this issue of delivery, the pros and the cons. The cons being around lack of well-being, in the sense that if everyone just sits at home and gets a white van that brings everything up, they never leave the television, and that's not so good. But one of the ways to solve that, or one of the answers to that, in a sense, was to have regional places that delivery happens to. And then there was an elaboration on that, so that might also be, if that was, let's say, the pub or the Royal Oak, that people would meet there and discuss, or it could also be a place that became called pods, where you could have washing machines. So delivery happens to somewhere which other things happen, so you get the social stuff as well as the delivery, which made lots of sense. Things about better connectivity and better broadband. Vote Labour. There's one piece we did absolutely instantly, which was the need for, there are a number of people who come in and stay for a night, or would do if they could, but can't afford to. So the idea of a network of free B&Bs. And on our table, I don't know if, so there was somebody who needed that because they just moved to Wells, and somebody else who has an Airbnb. So it was just done, just like that. So we saved a weekly trip to Wales, I think. But the idea, simply done, and actually has another well-being advantage of somebody who actually comes and stays with you, who you'd quite like to have, but might not want to have people all the time. So that's quite a good thought. That we kind of cover. The idea of having more active travel challenges, the thing which Anna talked about with the schools, sort of significantly linking that, upping that, and maybe even doing it weekly and linking it to Fridays for the Future as well, and also thoughts about actually banning cars outside schools altogether, and possibly having car shame, actually just upping the game, so people who drive their children to school, having that being something you just don't do. A world in which invisible travel starts happening, so lots more 3D production, goods actually produced here, things like why can't books be printed here? So they are often printed on demand, why not have that printer in Frome, so you have one printer here and also but 3D production and small scale production happening here. I think those were the main ones I wanted to mention, but there's a load of good ideas, and what really struck me is that most of these are doable. They're either happening somewhere, a bit like Matt was saying, earlier. They are already happening. So you can make all this happen easily.
Next 10 years we're sorted. Great. Jez, you were talking about increasing active travel.
Yeah. So increasing active travel, working backwards from this table, we had increasing the amount of cycle racks that were in town and having those covered as well, so that once you got in and it is pissing down, you could declothe. They could include electric charging points, because there's an increase in electric bikes. If you had to go on one, they're great. There was also something about barriers to cycling, getting there, something about drying out, that dry store, having showers in businesses and places where you can decompress and go from one stage to another. There was an idea about a steps app or map, giving an idea of how long it actually takes to walk and the time it takes to walk from areas of Frome to one point to another, making it a little more, you're much more aware of actually it only takes 10 minutes to walk to the leisure centre. Over here we've got some shared delivery bikes, rethinking the delivery system. That sounds like a good idea. Something about the design of new builds, all having one road access and having basically an impossible street, so that you just go in. There's no way of getting out or getting linked back into the town. So increased pressure for planning for cycle paths with all the new builds or new villages that are going to be built on the outskirts. Down here we've got developing this thing around a safe cycling network to help people feel safe cycling. So there's something about mapping the area and deciding on some key cycle routes into town, and really focusing on those and making those, perhaps colouring them and highlighting those to both cyclists, pedestrians and car users. Priority for people in road design, that's a massive culture change. Maybe a whole fleet of trailers, bike trailers that are around town that you could just pick up with a deposit, a bit like you do with your shopping trolley kind of thing. There's loads. I can keep going. There's other tables. See what you got over there.
Thanks, Jez. Richard, how does that compare to your discussions?
Rubbish.
Thought so.
I'm not going to read everything, we've got too much, so I'll just pick a few things. So there was a nice idea about GPs increasingly prescribing bikes and walking for health instead of tablets. That's something we could do. Jez mentioned a bit about having a local cycle network. We talked a lot about that, having marked routes locally, because there's a national cycle network, but not so much of a local cycle network. So there's bits, but we could do more on that. Some of the nice ideas, having times when you prioritise bikes and pedestrians on the road. So maybe at rush hour you just allow bikes and cycles and walking, and you don't allow cars for that hour. That's something. Education, bike maintenance classes. So not just active travel, but getting all the kids, showing them how to change, and all those adults aren't very good at changing tyres and everything. And if you still can't do it, then let's see if we can set up some mobile bike mechanics who could just, you pick the phone up and say,
bicycle repair man.
Worker incentives. So I brought this up, I used to cycle to work a lot, all the time at one time. And I could do it because when I got there was a shower and somewhere to get changed. And if you don't have that, or you don't have a nearby facility to do that, it's really difficult to actively cycle to work because you end up being sweaty all day. So little things like that, rewarding active travel as well by employees. And there was some nice, somebody else mentioned about walking links in Frome. A lot of the estates are not designed so you can walk between them very easily. We could do with something better in certain areas. I won't mention exactly examples, but we could do it. Shopping, bike delivery at the end of the day. If you've been walking around the town, you've got 4 or 5 bags of shopping. If you knew that, I don't know, by cheese and grain or something, there was somebody there who was going to take your stuff up the hill for you, maybe it's a bike delivery type thing, at the end of the day, and you pay them a quid or a couple of quid or something to do that, that might be something we could do. Also, pedestrian access at supermarkets and business parks, quite difficult if you walk up to Asda and try and get across the zebra crossing and across, and likewise. So a few ideas there. There's a lot more, but I'll stop there.
Okay, I'm just going to pick 3 ideas. There's lots of really interesting ones here, which I'll pass on to Anna. But 3 ideas from which kind of came up from repeatedly. So we've got something around information, basically a website and an app that it's not working. Okay, apparently. There we are. So a website and an app for travelling through, which would include real-time information. It would feed in the bus times, up-to-date bus times, train times, and it might incorporate booking software, so people can actually say, this is the journey I want to make, and then it offers people choices for how to do that, including lift shares, so incorporating lift share journeys into that mix. So another one is to trial 3 buses, so we have a month where all the buses are free and free, and publicise that and see what difference that makes. And the third one is some kind of shuttle bus has been picked up on, shuttle bus or shuttle train to Westbury, so that people have more journey opportunities, and also why not a bus to Frome rail station itself doesn't have a bus service from the town at the moment. So just a taste of 3 ideas there.
The discussion did orientate itself around incentives and penalties, and a lot of the ideas have been actually touched on already in summing up. Just picking up a little bit of an extension on the notion of a free travel. We had a free travel model as our Luxembourg apparently, or other places of some sort. That might involve free money buses running around the town, for example, on a more regular basis, which would encourage travel by alternatives to cars. The other one, another one, just school buses instead of picking up within Frome, rather than banning dropping kids off at school by car. I think that's probably about it, really.
Brilliant. 2 minutes to 9, we've just done the roundup. That's great. Thanks very much to you all for that. So the next steps, I mean, obviously with transport, we all just need to be working together and communicating about this and developing ideas together, because there are some real amazing opportunities. Critchell School, for example, have got an amazing bike workshop that we could be using to fix bikes and to get more active. Go-Op, have you heard of Go-Op, the cooperative rail company that's set up? They're going to be introducing more services next year. So there are some interesting things that are going to be happening hopefully in the next few years, but it's all about us supporting those things, I suppose, and implementing it into our own lives if we can. In terms of next steps, if you're able to leave your name and contact details, that would be brilliant, maybe an action. Next week, as I mentioned, it's resources we're looking at. This Saturday, we're doing the swap shop, which I might have mentioned. I'm worried that I'm going to be on my own with, I don't know, a couple of teddies and nothing else. So please come along if you can. And the idea is it's about reducing body energy of the stuff that we use, and also it's a way just to swap things and get other things you might want. For example, for Christmas gifts, it's anything from plants to books to toys. And then we have Rob Hopkins, co-hosted by Sustainable Frome, who will be talking about unleashing the power of imagination and a lot of the things like Matt was mentioning earlier. And there's so many brilliant solutions that are already happening. We just need to help them happen in Frome. As I say, I'll be drafting the reports over the next month or so, and if you do leave your details, I can keep in contact and we can continue this dialogue and really work together to get to zero carbon transport by 2030. Thanks very much. And if you wouldn't mind taking your glasses onto the trolley, that would be very helpful. Thanks a lot.
Sorry.